This video is a review on our unit on volume. Here's our formula sheet. I've put it in the yellow notes folder for you. If you're in my class, we have area of a parallelogram, area of a triangle, area of a trapezoid, area of a circle, circumference of a circle, and then in this unit we did volume of a prism, big BH, area of the base times the height, pyramid, 1/3 big BH, 1/3 the area of the base times the height, and a sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed. There are also some other formulas on here. And I also have in notes, these are all prisms. So the formula for all of them is big BH. It just shows you if it's a rectangular prism, it breaks down to LW for B, big B. If it's a triangular prism, big B is half the base times the height. If it's a circular prism, big B is pi r squared, and so on. I will review all the volume situations with you, and then we'll take a little practice quiz. So first, volume of a prism. To get the volume of a prism, you get the area of the base and multiply it by the height. The formula for that is big BH. Big B is the area of the base, which in this case, I have a square on this side and a square on that side, which are my two bases. And H is the height, which is the distance between the two square bases. In this case, it's 9. On example number 1, prism is big BH. Big B on a rectangular prism breaks down to length times width. The length and the width of my square base is 5 and 5. So I plug 5 and 5 in for my length and width. And the height or depth of the prism, the distance between the two square bases, is 9. So I plug 9 in for height. You can just multiply those three numbers together. Or you could have said 5 times 5 gives you an area of the base of 25 square units, then multiplied it by 9 to get cubic units if you would have liked. Here's an example with a triangular base. So the formula is the same. It's still a prism. It has a top and a bottom on it, not a bottom and a point. So big BH, big B on a triangle is half the length times the width, or half the base times the height. The base of the triangle is 4. That goes there. The height of the triangle is 6. That goes there. And the height of the prism, the distance between the two triangles, is 8. You can multiply these straight across or a little bit at a time, up to you. But when you multiply those four numbers together, the answer is 96 cubic units. Area is 2-dimensional to the second power. Volume is 3-dimensional to the third power. Here we have a circular prism, also known as a cylinder. So big B on a cylinder is a circle. So I have to replace big B with pi r squared. So I need two things. The radius, halfway across the circle, is 3, and the height of the prism, in this case, is 9. Plug those in. You do have to follow order of operations here. You have to square that 3 first to get 9. Once you square that 3, you can multiply these in any order you want. 9 times 9 is 81, and 81 times pi is about 254.5 cubic units. Your answer may vary a little bit depending on whether you have a pi button or whether you're using 3.14. Pi button will give you a little larger answer. 3.14 will give you a slightly smaller answer. Here's an example of one that is a trapezoidal prism. Your bases are both trapezoids. It doesn't give me the dimensions of the trapezoid, but what it gives me is the area of the base. It says the area of the base is 40 square units. It doesn't matter what shape my base is. If it tells me the area of the base, I just plug that in for big B. The area of the base is 40. And the height of the prism, the distance between the two trapezoidal bases, is 9. 40 times 9 is 360 cubic units. So if it gives you the area of the base, much easier. You just plug the area of the base in for big B. Now we'll move on to a pyramid. A pyramid has one base and a point. It's hard to look at this on a 2-dimensional sheet of paper, but I have a square bottom and then it goes up into a point. To find the volume of a pyramid, get the area of the base and multiply it by the height and by 1/3. So our formula for pyramids is volume equals 1/3 big BH. Big B stands for the area of the base. which by the way would be the same thing as saying big B H all over 3, because multiplying by 1/3 or dividing by 3 is the same thing. In this case, my base is a square, so I can break that down to length times width. The length and the width of the square are both 5. The height of the prism, the distance between the square base and the point, is 9. I can multiply those straight across if I have a scientific calculator. 1/3 times 5 times 5 times 9. If I don't have a scientific calculator, I would multiply 5 times 5 times 9 in a regular calculator to get 225. Then I would leave that in my calculator and hit divided by 3, because multiplying by 1/3 and dividing by 3 is exactly the same thing. Multiplying by 1/3, dividing by 3, exactly the same thing. So if you don't have a scientific calculator, we can put a fraction in there, multiply everything else together, get your answer, leave it in your calculator, hit divide by 3. Here we have a picture of what is supposed to be a cone. I have a circular base and it goes up to a point. So big B is going to break down to pi r squared. That's how I find the area of a circle is pi r squared. I need two things. I need my radius to go right here, and I need my height to go right here. My radius is 3, my height is 9, so I can plug those in. I do have to follow order of operations by squaring this 3 first to get 9. And again, I would multiply 9 times 9 first to get 81. I could go ahead and do pi, but I'm going to get into a big decimal if I do that. So what I would prefer to do is multiply 9 times 9 to get 81. Go ahead and divide first. 81 divided by 3 is 27. Then multiply by pi to get my answer, which is 84.8 cubic units. You can do it a different way. That's just how I would prefer to do it if I were doing it. Last example I'll show you is finding the volume of a sphere. Find the volume of a sphere with a radius of 3. That is the only measurement we need to find the volume of a sphere is a radius of 3. It is the radius. That's all we need. So I plug 3 in for my radius. I have to follow order of operations and do my exponent first. 3 cubed is 27. The 4, the pi, and the 27 are all in the numerator. The 3 and understood 1 and understood 1 are all in the denominator. So I chose to multiply 27 times 4 to get 108, then divide by 3 to get 36, then multiply by pi to get 113 cubic units. And I will do the practice quiz on a separate video. So that is your review for finding volume of three-dimensional figures.